very, very dear friend of mine, Jim. And we're going to have him, he has a few words that he would like to share. Go ahead.
Thank you, Thomas. My name is Jim Caldwell. I'm the guy to blame if it gets too hot. I'm the chairman of this activity. This activity is a result of a request by Mayor Dick Church. So here we are. I happen to think that I was 85 years old when I started planning on this, and I'm 88 now. I don't know where the time went. The Hawks up here have a special meaning to my wife and I. The red-tailed hawk is our spirit guide. And believe it or not, I have actually talked to a red-tailed hawk. And that's when he agreed to be our spirit guide. I've got some special thoughts here. This activity has been a renewal of old friendships. I've known Thomas for quite some time. We've worked together at events up in the northern part of Ohio. And I know that I can depend on him when he's needed. He's from the Toledo, Ohio area. Elk Spirit, who is our spirit guide here today, is from Pennsylvania. And I have known him and worked with him for a good number of years as well. Diane, I don't know, I guess Diane isn't here yet. Hummingbird?
She's out in the trunk of the car.
Okay. I have worked with her as well many times. And then there's another old friend, Ken Hammondtree. And you'll have a chance to listen to him here a little later in the program as Tecumseh. Dan Cutler from Pennsylvania, or West Virginia, and we've known him for a long time as well. Both of those gentlemen are going to make you feel like you've walked through a time machine, I promise. And then, of course, there are the many new friends. Mark Banks and the Southern Singers. I have seen them and talked with them at many powwows around the state. And I think I can honestly say there's no better drum than Southern Singers. Mark has been a help to me. There's been several times I've had to call him and ask some advice, approval of things, and he's been a great help in that regard. I have to say too, that all but about two of our dancers today come from the Southern Singers. And that certainly did make things a little easier for me. Juan Ryder, you'll see him later on doing the grass dance. Fabulous young man. We would adopt him, I'm sure. There he is, okay. Our vendors, I hope that you'll take advantage of some time to visit our vendors. They have some outstanding wares, from beautiful paintings and drawings over here and other craft work. Let's see, I think we've got dream catchers, so on. And there's a lady over there in that blue tent who has the most fantastic Native American children's books. I saw her down in Kentucky a couple of years or so, and that's when I invited her to come. An assistant to the director of Miamisburg Parks and Recreation, Emily Price. She was sitting right over there. She's wearing a green shirt. She's sort of an intern. I told her I hope I hadn't been too hard on her, because she's been kind of between a rock and a hard spot. Because at my age, my patience is a little short. Later on, I expect the mayor will be here, and his right-hand person, and mine as well, Kurt Stevie. And you're going to hear Gary Pettigrew, a new friend. He's the caretaker of items for the Miamisburg Historical Society. You're going to hear Larry Sutman as well from the Historical Society. I had a great volunteer committee. I think they're walking around with blue shirts. I think there's at least 2 of them over here that in a committee of about 6 people. And it's been great to work with them, and I really had to depend on them. And I much appreciate their help, particularly because I'm not familiar with the area. My wife and I moved down here about 5 years ago. We live in West Carrollton. And so they're locals, so they were able to help me in that respect. I think as a retired school teacher, I've talked long enough. But we welcome you here. The shade is going to be like playing musical chairs, because that shade is going to be constantly changing. So be careful, as Thomas mentioned before. I think we're ready for our spiritual